earlier in the conversation, you said that India also wants to know which way we also go. There was a time when the choice was between the Americans and the Soviet Union. With the India-China conflict, are the neighbors around India feeling that India and China put this choice before them?
I think living next to a large neighbor is not easy. It's a reality. But in the context of the Indian Ocean and the neighborhood, we need to work together. There is no question about that. You look at Sri Lanka, we are an $80 billion economy, but you are a $5.5 trillion economy. You have 1.4 billion population. We have 22 million population. So in many ways, it's an asymmetric relationship. So if we think that it is going to be an equal relationship, we are also living in a fool's paradise. For example, 20, 30 years ago, during the Cold War, we got into a similar situation with India because there was a perception that we were closer to the West or especially to the US. Today, we have to be very clear between us what the red lines are. Because for a big power, security is a red line. But then who defines security? But when you define it, you must be fair by us. We must be able to trade and deal. That's why with the integration process, I think increasingly your security and ours will become aligned. That's what I feel. I think with you, that is the way forward for us.
Do you think it's a natural relationship that will thrive if there is an integration as compared to aligning with an America or a Russia or the European nations?
We are the same gene pool, we are the same civilization, and we are geographically neighbors. For me, the perfect relationship, it's a question I always wonder how that was achieved. I am a Buddhist, and King Dharmashoka sent his son and daughter to Sri Lanka with the message of Buddhism. And he never knew the king of Sri Lanka. The level of trust that he must have had as India's greatest emperor to do that. Now, that is the relationship for Sri Lanka.
Can we interpret this as that Sri Lanka is more comfortable working with India than China?
I don't think there is a reason even to have that discussion. Because, comparing the relationship with India with somebody else, whether it's the Chinese or the Americans, it doesn't make sense because we are the same blood. So, that is our comfort zone. Our language, for example, I speak Sinhalese, is a Sanskrit-based language. It is not based on anything to do with China. I don't think there is an issue there. We need to have more people-to-people exchanges. That's why this idea that someday maybe school kids can get into a train in Colombo and get off in Chennai.
If you see the geopolitics, definitely there is a competition going on between India and China. So Sri Lanka is definitely part of that, the larger game which is going on. How do you look at that, sir?
The competition is going on not only between India and China, but between, it's a much larger contest even than that. For us, we are too big to, play any role within that competition. For us, as I said, 22 million people, $80 billion economy, we have to ensure that we start growing this economy. At the moment, we have almost a false calm because we are not paying our debts. We are not really importing anything. In my view, the big issue is, frankly, I may have an opinion on it, but I don't think we can address it for a while. We really need to get out of the situation. I'm not trying to duck your question. All I'm saying is that we have to focus our
No, you are not a diplomat, but you gave a diplomatic answer.
Click here to watch the full episode.